we are here for Ashley's Heart Song. This is the place where we get out of the stress and back into our body, life, and business. This is the Three Brains approach to gaining more clarity, more vibrancy, and vitality. You will live the song of your heart and be in alignment with all that you desire and hope to bring in your life. And today we're going to have a very special guest. Elian Haan will be with us. But first, y'all, you know what comes first. We got to do our vitality score. The vitality score helps us keep up with how we are tending to our physical body, our soulful body, our spiritual body, our mental and emotional body. And so we're going to go through the 4 categories. And the first one is your physical body. So between 1 and 10, 10 being you feel such vibrancy and health today. 1 is, you might be a little fatigued. Well, if you're a 1, you are really fatigued and you would really just love to go and take a nap and not get out of bed. 5 is kind of middle of the road. Get your score and write it down. Next category is your emotional health. Emotionally, do you feel balanced today? Do you feel joy in your heart? That's a 10. If you find that life and anything that is happening around you is pulling you off course and you're jumping from happy to mad, or just staying mad, then you're 5 down to 1. Where are you on the emotional balance? Then we have the mental. Our mental score today, what is that for you? Mentally, are you feeling clear, strong? Do you believe in yourself today, mentally? Or do you feel that you are squirrel, all over the place? Where are you today between 1 and 10? The last area is our spiritual health. Spiritually, are you aligned today? Do you feel connected? Do you feel rooted, grounded? Or do you feel like you are in this world all alone and you have no clue as to what to do next? You're lost. That's a 1. Add that up together. Of course, the high score is a 40. The closer you are to 40, the more vibrancy you'll feel, the more vitality you're going to feel and experience in your life. If you are below a 25, there's some things to work with. If you're above a 25, you know those areas that are kind of testing a little low, and more than likely you are paying attention to those. Well, you're in awareness of it. You might not be doing anything about it right now, and that's okay because we have days like that. However, you are aware and you're going to do some work. If you're below a 25, then that is a call for action. That is you, the very essence of you is calling out for some attention, calling out for some direction, calling out for you to get rooted and grounded. And so listen to those calls. Our physical body gives us so many hints, so many explosions. Sometimes it's an explosion in your face, right? It's something that you don't want to know, don't want to address. But y'all, when it does talk with you, it is time to listen. And our special guest today, Elian Haan, is also in this health arena. So her and I are going to have a really good conversation. I just know it. But first, before I welcome her to the stage, I would love to read a little bit about Elian. She is a bestseller and award-winning author, TV show host of Elian's Joy, and motivational speaker. Elian has spent most of her professional life in fitness and wellness industry and is a Fowler International Life and Master Coach with a yoga studio and private practice in Texas. Elian is specialized in Mid-Life and Transformational Coaching and known for her straightforward coach approach, presenting and sharing her life lessons with a good dose of humor, joy, and energy. She helps her clients get their sexy back and get a better life in person and virtual through private sessions, group coaching, workshops, webinars, exercise and fitness, and speaking events. After years of counseling and somatic work at an addiction rehab facility, her expertise lies in trauma-informed care, addiction recovery, grief, PTSD, depression, and anxiety intervention. Wow. Y'all, welcome to the stage, Elian Haan. Thank you so much for being with us.
Actually, I think I sent you the long version.
I love it. We want to know all about you.
Maybe it just looks shorter on paper and it's just really coming out like way too much. Yes, my accidental life, right?
How
It happens to
beautiful.
be, yes, it accumulates. Yes.
It
Yeah.
does. And I think it's important for everybody to know that the extent of your expertise, the extent of your experiences is so helpful to so many people, to know the depth in which you have studied, the depth in which you've walked. And so before we get started, is there anything that you would love to share to get, right off the bat? Is there something that's top of mind, top of heart that you would love to share today?
Top of heart, I always share with anybody that what I have learned is that life doesn't get any easier, but that you get better at it. And that is my quote of my book that I wrote, and it will be, part of the lessons that I share in my next one as well. And thank you, Ashley, for having me on. I love you so much. So thank you. Did I say that? Thank you for being here, and thank you to our guests. Yeah, it's one of the things that I'm learning. I'm a really, really late bloomer, I would say. Yes. So that's why it's easy to stack some decades on top of each other. I just wanted to be a little ballerina, and obviously, this is where I ended up at my old age.
It's a lovely place where you ended up. And this is just temporary, right? You've got more places to go.
I'm still working on it. I'm still going. It never ends. Learning never ends. Growing never ends. And I did score a 32. I was pretty 8 on everything because I'm full of energy usually, and I feel in a really good place. I'm in a very, very peaceful place in my life, very joyful. But according to Bernard Shaw, George Bernard Shaw, I never want to go to the 10 because I'm always thinking that there's nothing that leaves to wish, right? There's nothing else left. So it's good to be in a high score and leave a tiny little place for improvement. There's always improvement.
Amen.
If I say that I'm all that happy and in a good place, my husband might not say so, right? So.
Yeah, right.
And a little break there.
And could it invite something in to knock you down?
Absolutely. I love that. Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. You're a little full of yourself right now. So we're just going to knock the feet out from under you for a second.
I love to be full of myself. I love it. Finally. Right. I love it. Yeah.
That is so fun. Oh, me too.
Room for learning though. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, to start off, I think I would love for you to share how you used to view the world and the happiness that you felt at the time compared to what you feel now. Can you kind of just tell us a little bit journey of you and what that looks like?
Absolutely. And that's a really easy question for me. I used to, I came from the Netherlands in my mid-30s to the United States. I had gone through quite a bit of trauma. At that point, I had lost my parents in my 20s, early 30s, and I had a devastating relationship that ended, and I had a marriage that lasted for a month that actually ended up to be to get me to the United States and didn't go anywhere. It was a pretty heavy time in my early 30s, and I came to the States to be with that husband, and he was nowhere to be found. Found him at my best friend's house ultimately in Amsterdam, and I guess there was not much communication going on, but and definitely not from his side. I didn't see it coming. Let's say it that way. So cheating on top of everything else was something that I didn't handle very well. I had I had a successful study, and I did a dance academy education, and then theater and arts at the university. So I was hopeful that I could do something with that. And I felt that I was really drawn to the movement and to the aerobic industry at that time, from the Richard Simmons, right? And Jane Fonda and all that stuff. So I just dropped I had somewhat of a dance career, and then I came to the United States, dropped my my pink leotard, and I wanted to have those ankle warmers anyway, right? And those really high tops. So I fully threw myself in the fitness industry, which really kind of saved my life always. I think movement always saved my life because I loved it so much. It was not very good for finances, right? Being a personal trainer in those days didn't really cut it. Personal training, group exercise. But looking back, I still thrive on the fact that I'm a professional trainer right now in a sense of wellness coach and life coach. And that wellness coach has helped me help a lot of others over the years. So I've been in the industry for a long, long time as a professional fitness expert, I can now say.
Yes.
And coming to the United States, the first 10 years were pretty messy, very messy, drinking a lot of anxiety that I couldn't place. I had no clue how to recognize symptoms. I was just always stressed out about how to make a life in a new country. And I didn't want to go back because that would have not been good for those two exes of mine, right? So I just had to kind of form and find a new life. And I didn't really know how to do that in a new country. So the first 10 years, 15 years were very blurry. I did learn that this is the answer to your question, that looking back, I was waiting on happiness to happen to me. And I know now that I need to make happiness happen myself. So I was always waiting on the next moment, right? I was waiting on somebody to make me happy, or a new relationship, or finally, of course, I tried to settle down and do the family thing because then I was going to be happy. Or if I had a 3-2-bedroom, house, then I was going to be happy with the yard and the front yard and the Wisteria Lane picture. And I was going to be happy when somebody saw my qualities and handed me a career. And I just sat there and waited. And I worked really hard, but I waited, right, in a matter of speaking. And the boat came by many times and I missed it, of course, right? Mm-hmm. God sends many signs. And so about 15, 20 years ago, I turned my life around and really did a lot of self-study and self-help and got some mentors and things like that going. And and learned how to be without everything and just be with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you did a lot of self-growth. I can't imagine the courage that it took for you to be here alone in a country you didn't know because your husband decided to stay in Amsterdam, I'm guessing. And so you were here all by yourself. I mean, the courage that takes. I mean, I'm just, wow.
I didn't realize it. Ashley, thank you. Yeah, I think I didn't realize that was courage. I just was more in a survival mode, and I was in a survival mode for a long time. Mm-hmm. I taught during the day, did a lot of fitness during the day, and just tried to make ends meet with little paychecks everywhere. And then did a lot of dancing in the disco at night with a lot of alcohol. That didn't bother me because during the day you worked it off, right? It was just like an absolutely nonsense set of a decade of seeking. And I did some work, but I just didn't really know that took courage to just take all that on. I just did it. I made it work. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know that was courageous. For me, it was more like a survival kind of mode till I kind of got the big picture and knew that I was here for a reason. And it was years without a purpose. Let's say it that way.
Yeah.
I didn't put much value on working as I did the work. I really was a great fitness instructor and got certified and everything. But I really never knew how to put value on myself. So I didn't monetize it, right? That kind of life where you're thinking that $10 is okay, as long as I get that with that paycheck, I can pay the bills. I wasn't really building anything. I wasn't really having any structure.
May I ask how old you were during that time?
Yes, I was in my mid-30s, mid-40s. So I came here in my mid-30s, and now I'm in my 60s. So it is it's been a long journey. Yes. Yes. And about 20 years ago, I turned it around. So in my mid-40s and late 40s, I really met happiness in a person, in a form of a person. I finally, I have a really happy life with a wonderful man, and finally found that situation where you can let go and feel at home and be appreciated. And there was no respect, and not for myself and not by anybody in that matter. Does that make sense?
It does. How lovely. It's like that. Everybody wants that moment in their life where, okay, it's where things have turned around. I am no longer in the gripping, the suffering, the why can't things work out for me? But all of a sudden it's just bam. And we know it didn't happen that way. There was a lot of growth you had to go through in order to even see when that happiness was shown into your life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of work that takes place from the depth of the muck to the happiness or the joy or the peace.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes, I had to let go of that happiness seeking, right? That I had to do that. I had to let go of something that I find very important when I speak. I had to let go of expectation. We always live in a frame of expectation. When we were young, we do, of course, what our parents want to, if we have a somewhat, whatever we consider normal upbringing. And I did not have that, but I just did the work for my parents to please them and go to school, get an education. It is not exactly always what we want. So maybe we veer off, but that's the expectation frame. In your 20s, you have a lot of people around you that you want to live up to, and with the gang, right? And whatever they're doing, if it's a student body, or if it's a situation where all your friends are settling down and having a family, that 20s to 30s, you expect again that perfect situation of the the neighborhood with everybody kind of growing and working together, which is not providing a happiness for everybody per se. Mm-hmm. And in the last that word expectation, I also put a lot of expectation on myself because I was so determined to make it and get out of it, but I had nowhere to go. So I always say that was really important. And to find respect is my second topic that I always bring up. It's very important to be in relationships where you get respected and not just loved, because love is taking on so many varieties of and so many forms of love. They are right there. And I can love on so many people and I can love so many people, but it's difficult to respect people and to find people that respect you. And I was in many relationships. Sounds like all my exes are in Texas, right? In a search phase, I should say, where I didn't recognize what I was doing when I was looking. So I was looking for the wrong reasons related to my trauma. And I was also not finding any respect, maybe loved for a while, but then afterwards it's drifting because you might not like the way somebody's treating you specifically, or not following up with you, or you might lose respect because you're doing it all, right? And somewhat women, I noticed right now, we always do it all. We want to do it all, we want to fix it. And even so to where we take power away from our partner, from our wives, from our husbands, from our spouses, from the relationships that we're in. We're always fixing it, even as a daughter, as a mother. So it takes power away from somebody else. But a big outcome of that is that we are then slowly losing respect that might slip in.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is a very powerful point. My husband and I did a class on love and respect, and it's by the Eldridges, I believe. And it was such a beautiful class on those two things, that yes, love is super powerful, but respect must be there. And especially women showing, respecting their husband, right? Being able to respect them. Yeah. Do we just accept the love that they give us, or do we really respect them for who they are? And that makes relationships work. right? Women need that love, but we also need to respect the person that we are with.
Absolutely. And it's of course it goes both ways.
Yes.
And it's so noticeable when you are in a good place, because that is the little stuff, right? I will make coffee this time, or I know that you're busy, I will take over, or I'm fixing this for you because I want to and not because I need to. And every relationship that I tell my people, my clients now, right? Patients and clients, I tell them that relationships should be based on a mutual want to be together and not need to be together. And so for that reason, I think a lot of people are starting with and this is a big thing, if you're starting to feel, which I had a marriage after that gave me a beautiful son, and it was a beautiful marriage in the beginning, and of course we don't see so much, but we lost that mutual respect for each other, and not really even on purpose, but it can really slowly drift in to where you start building a form of resentment and a form of anger, and those are the two major things that lead to destruction of self in the first place, because it takes away your self-esteem, takes away your confidence, and it leads in many cases to abuse of pills, medication, drugs. Addiction, right? It leads in a lot of ways that leads into an entrapment of doing something that you're not supposed to do. And that doesn't have to be a substance. That can be hiding away. That can be just not going anywhere anymore. That can be isolation. That can be a lot of internet shopping, whatever little addiction that might be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so you work with what's informed trauma care. We went from this beautiful conversation around relationships, and I think that really served some people here today to be able to hear that. Here we're two health and fitness gurus, and we're going into relationships because that's such a huge aspect of our health. But I really want to take that into that informed trauma care, because I think that would also be beneficial. Where are you serving in that, and what does that look like?
So about 10 years ago, I was invited. I had a yoga studio and a fitness studio, and that was what I was doing. And I was slowly going into coaching, because if you work with people, then you're always a coach, right? It's always how's the husband and how's the kids. So that was always my life. I mean, as a bartender in the early days, that was my life, right? So we do that if you're a person that talks and likes to help. If you're bossy, I always say that if you're bossy like I am, then you like to help people. The teacher in me, slowly I got invited into work in an environment in an addiction environment, in an addiction recovery environment, which was a full-time inpatient job. It ended up being a full-time inpatient job with people that stay there for 30 to 90 days. In a rehab facility, beautiful rehab facility, gorgeous. And it was just opening up, and I was south of Dallas, and I was in there got hired as the wellness counselor with the freedom to build a lot of programming around the mind, body, spirit setting. So not just teaching yoga, but also doing anxiety intervention, and also going more into trauma-informed care. Mm-hmm. So that's when I got to think, what is that, right? What is trauma-informed care? So I studied it, and I got certified as a trauma-informed care doer. Mm-hmm. It is setting up a space, not just in a yoga class, because I was teaching yoga, but it's easy to explain. If you set up a situation in a yoga class, but nobody wants to come because they don't love their body and they don't love themselves, and they are in a severe form of addiction. They have experienced a lot of trauma, especially women. They have experienced maybe a lot of physical trauma. I've worked with a lot of men that have experienced physical trauma. But at that point, my patients don't want to go, because yoga is very intimidating, and it's very heavy into the self. And it's one of those things where you do not create an environment in a sense of, if I may say so respectfully, spread your legs and bend over forwards. Mm-hmm. So that is trauma-informed care in a nutshell. And so there's a lot of aspects to trauma-informed care that you can place. So ultimately, I wrote a lot about it. I wrote a program about it. I have a 12-week program about trauma-informed care. It's all about how to go with the 6 essentials for trauma-informed care and how can you place that in a setting of a hospital care, medical facility, a clinical facility. How is that a more approachable for the client, for the patient environment that you are creating than just let's do this. And now it's more popular because we are coming very much to we live in a country where mental health now is peaking, right? We have a lot of anxiety and mental health, and a lot of people need to seek and create somewhat of a different environment to be able to work with people, to be aware of former mental health problems or former trauma, or just the things that we kind of ignored and kind of stepped over, right? I didn't know all that in my childhood, what trauma can mean and do for you. And so slowly I started recognizing my own shortcomings because what I did in the past, the choices that I made. And yeah, it's very interesting. It's just very time bound right now, right? Sign of the times kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you have on the trauma-informed care, I just want to make sure I understand so the audience hears this. So if someone is going, all right, I am in a place of addiction or anxiety or anything based from the trauma. So that 12-week informed trauma care program that you have would be for them.
Yes.
Or to work with you one-to-one, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
So I work with a lot of people one-to-one as a midlife and transformation coach.
Mm-hmm.
I practice here in town, but I also do groups, and I'm starting, for instance, an anxiety program in October for 8 weeks, just to get it done before Thanksgiving, because this is when anxiety is high peak as well. And so it's kind of like this. I started it with nurses and with schools, right? It's high, you're just starting, and now there's Halloween and there's Thanksgiving and there's Christmas and Hanukkah and crazy times coming up. Let's get rid of this anxiety, kind of a burnout booster, or beat the burnout program, and really be. So these are the things I do with groups in sessions online and as well as people one-on-one.
How wonderful. All right. And then before we move further, I'm going to be posting with this video the link how people can get in touch with you, but would you mind just sharing that with the live audience real quick, how they can get a hold of you?
Absolutely, of course. So elianhaan.com, just my name.com is my website, and there's all kind of links to social media, how you can get in touch with me. I love to message and messenger and text. It's all out there and really easy to find. And of course, I will always give somebody who refers to this show, and thank you, Ashley, for today, a free coaching session or a link to the PDF on trauma-informed care. Absolutely. So just reach out. Yes.
Awesome. Beautiful. All right. Thank you for sharing that. So it's elianhaan.com. Haan is the last name. First name, Elian. elianhaan.com. Perfect. And then I would love for you to share about the My Triangle Transformation.
Absolutely. Yes. So My Triangle Transformation is one of the things that I do, that I've always done with my patients. And now I don't work in that setting anymore. So 2 years ago, I really just only started for myself to work in my practice and do classes during the week. So the Triangle Transformation really has to do with the mind, body, spirit. So when people are working with me, I pay a lot of attention body-wise to what somatically they are going through. Again, related to trauma-informed or related to their somatic. Let's say somebody with anxiety comes in. They are here with their shoulders. They have a lot of back pain and they have intestinal pain, right? So let's say that is very related to your mind. So the mind-body reaction. Then there's a lot of the mindset, of course, that we do, and there is the spiritual. We got to have faith, we got to have hope. Otherwise, how do we move forwards? So my motto there is, if there is trauma, I don't really work as a counselor. I'm not a therapist, so I don't go back to that trauma, but I go embrace it, right? I do want to know, we embrace it. What have you done with it? Let's move through, let's move with it so that you can be proud of it, own it, to what happened to you at this point in your life, then move forwards and move up, because that's where it all is.
Amen.
Ultimately, amen, right?
Yes, yes, yes. And I love that, because it truly is about the full package of who we are as a human being.
Yeah.
In the personal training, and I'm sure you got this from the yoga as well, it's people come to you, they just want to transform their body and they don't pay attention. They don't realize that the equation actually has to do with their mind, emotions, their spiritual center. It includes all of that in the transformation. Your body won't change unless those things change, right? It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So I love that you do the triangle. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That. Yes, 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 yes. So we have been speaking this year or this month about simplifying our life. And so the guests who are on with me, I would love to I like to get other ideas of, what do you do to simplify your life? How do you do that? Because we are more at ease, more calm, more at peace when we have simplified versus a lot of stuff around us, right? Whether it's mental, emotional, or physically. So how do you simplify?
Well, for me, it comes back to what I said. I can be really easy, like letting go of thinking that I need to please everybody, and letting go of expectations, letting go of thoughts that I'm worried about not being liked, or not being somewhere, or even missing the party. Right? I love to be alone. I love my time alone. I love the time with us together at the house. And simplifying for me is that I'm not attached anymore to so many things. It's really true. I mean, we got a house full of stuff, but who cares? It's really becoming into the place of peace, which is a big difference. With happiness usually is related to things around us and outside and exterior things. And peace is really the inside, like we don't need anything anymore. And I'm good there. Yes.
Amen. That's beautiful. Yes. Well, tell us about your upcoming book, Elian.
So my second book, my first one was called 60 Miles from Neiman's. That was published last year. I'm working on 26 ways to get your sexy back. And this is really a fun story, kind of fun life coaching stories. Of course, transformed into the words that are really, the subtitle is how to attain adult status, right? How to get your sexy back and attain adult status, right? So if you know, for instance, the word acceptance, the words be yourself, right? Happiness, all these things, the words that we talk about all the time, nothing new, but just kind of thrown into a different format to where I would say, let it all go. Who cares? As long as you care about yourself.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. What is the number?
I hope to have it done this fall.
I hope to have it done this fall. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. So I would just like to know, what is number 10 on getting your sexy back?
Well, I need to look at that. The joy, right? It's all
joy.
About, yes, it's all about, is that the letter J? I'm not sure, but it's all about the alphabet.
Oh, okay.
So where are we at the letter? Are we at the letter J at 10?
B, C,
the
D,
J from joy.
F, G, H, I, J. Joy.
It's all about joy. Yes. Just living your life to the fullest. Don't miss out a day. Yeah.
Love that so much. And that I landed on joy. I love that even more.
I love it. And it's easy for me because my show is called Elian's Joy, right? So it's a lot in my life that there must be joy. And of course, I'm not always happy, but it's easier to come from a place of inner peace to find a way out and know your tools and tricks that you need to apply to get back into that sense of gratefulness, right? In the morning, attitude of gratitude. And I know you do that a lot, and I know that you do that all the time with everybody you work with. So to be aware of the fact that we can be in charge is huge. Except for, but asking for help in the path that we want to go.
Beautiful. Yeah, the partnership there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Elian, when is your show?
My show is on Saturdays at 1 o'clock CT, 11 o'clock PT, 2 o'clock ET. And that is on winwinwomen.tv as well. Yes.
Yes, you can find Elian Haan, and her show title is Elian's Joy. And it's on Saturdays, 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern. No, 2 p.m. Eastern Time.
2 p.m. Eastern. Yeah.
Yep.
So for us, yeah.
Yeah. So join Elian on a Saturday afternoon. And as you can see, she just has this sweet, wonderful, peaceful spirit about her. And there's just that sprinkle of joy that just comes out when she talks. So you will enjoy her show. Love it so much. Elian, thank you so much for being on Ashley's Heart Song today. I am just so grateful for you and this time we've gotten to spend together. Thank you for being with us.
For having me, Ashley.
Yes, you're so welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. Those of you who have joined us for the live audience, thank you so much for being with us in person today. We will have some Q&A time with Elian in just a moment. If you are watching this, we are so grateful that you found Ashley's Heart Song, and I pray that this blessed you in a way beyond measure. And find us every Monday right here at 3 p.m. Central Time, every Monday. And then also all of the replays are on winwinwomen.tv/Ashley's Heart Song. I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, fill yourself up with peace and joy, and you will live a life you truly love. See you next time.